Okay, we are live. We are live, and this is a short notice emergency broadcast. Short notice emergency broadcast, and I see our Wags is in the house already. Our Wags in the house. Kyle's in the house, and this is absolutely a short notice broadcast. I literally just set it up. Didn't even have a chance to clean my glasses. Didn't have a chance to set up tabs on my laptop. But this is going to be a relatively quick discussion. There's been a lot of panic. A lot of panic. The fear and greed index on Bitcoin is like 15 or something, which everybody's in extreme fear right now, and they're panicking. Weak hands are selling their Bitcoin. And let me see if I can get the price up here. Give me a second here. Pro. Try to get it up here and see if I can give us a live check on what's happening. Love the email notification says our Wags, and yeah, we're sending those out before a show. And right now, as we speak, Bitcoin is at $41,800, which about a year ago it was at this same number, and everybody was celebrating a new high, right? We were like, everybody was ecstatic. It was like, oh my gosh, it's incredible, right? Now, same price, everybody's in mass hysteria and panic. If you look at the annual candles for Bitcoin, there have typically been several times when we have had 3 green candles in a row. So in other words, 3 years in a row where the Bitcoin price went up. And then that 4th year, there was a red candle. The price actually went down. That's the year we're in right now. We've had 3 green candles in a row with tremendous gains. And now we're in that year that would typically be a down year for Bitcoin. That would be typical. Now, Bitcoin doesn't like to do the typical all the time. Although, again, there's a track record of this. Three green candles and then a red candle. 3 green candles and then a red candle, okay? These 4-year cycles. There are a whole bunch of people that think that the 4-year cycle might be a thing of the past, and that also think that 60 to 80% pullbacks, which we've had typically in Bitcoin, are also a thing of the past. Michael Saylor, just a few weeks ago, said that he thought that the most we'd see is like about a 40% pullback. Well, that's where we're sitting about right now. 40% from the high was 69,000. So is this the bottom? Who knows? And see, that's the problem with trying to time the market with Bitcoin is most people are clueless and have no idea what's going to happen week to week, month to month. Over a long time period, most of us that are pro Bitcoin think the price is going to go up. But that's a long time period. So when you try to time the market, more often than not, you're going to end up with less Bitcoin. You're going to end up selling. You're going to miss the big run up. You're going to buy after it's running up and you miss some of that. And then you're going to sell at the wrong time. And then again, you're going to buy back at the wrong time. You're not going to time the market properly. And also, you're going to have tax events in most cases trying to do all of that. So, moral of the story, buy and hold. That's what I do. I'm not giving financial advice here, by the way, but I have a strong hand. I haven't sold any of my Bitcoin. I'm not panicking. Somebody commented on one of my videos, oh my gosh, you've lost so much money. It was at 69,000 and now it's at 40,000. You've lost all that money. Well, first of all, I didn't buy at 69,000. And second of all, I haven't sold. So I haven't lost anything yet until I sell. The same person is going to be like saying that I should sell when it gets to like 350,000 a Bitcoin, right? He'll be saying, "Oh, you got to sell, you got to take some money off the table and all that." I've heard that so many times over the years. "Oh my God, it hit $10,000. You got to take some money off the table." There were people here on the channel when Bitcoin was $10,000, when I was buying some Bitcoin at $10,000 live on the channel, about 2.5 Bitcoin, that were telling me I should take some Bitcoin off the table and buy a watch. Well, I've got a stunner right here. I don't really have to buy a watch. Here's a stunner. Absolute total stunner. There's been people over the years that have repeatedly said that I should take some profits, sell some of the Bitcoin. And it's always been at numbers significantly lower than it is right now. Okay. So if I had listened to them, I'd had a tax event and I'd have less Bitcoin, and that's where I would be. So, boozers in the house, weekenders are looking real pitiful right now. And I'm going to tell you how this works. Craig, what words of advice would you give the guys that bought in at 60K and are panicking? Relax. Hey, everyone, says Jason. He's got a stunner. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what's happening. This is my opinion. No sound. How come? Wait, somebody said there's no sound. Can you guys not hear me now? Let me know in the chat. RWAG said no sound. Camera mic, testing 1, 2, audio, testing 1, 2. It looks good on this end. Anyway, let me know. Okay, so here's what's happening in my opinion. The whales, the guys that are kind of pros, they are manipulating the market big time, okay? They are trying to shake people out of their Bitcoin, all right? And what they do is, especially during times of relatively low liquidity, when they can move the market, they'll go in and they'll spot sell some Bitcoin, large amount, to try to get some panic and to try to get a bunch of people selling and drive that price down. And then they'll buy that Bitcoin that they sold back and then some. So they're buying a bunch of Bitcoin out of weak hands. They're literally shaking the Bitcoin out of these weak hands, trying, excuse me, damn, COVID again, trying their best to shake that Bitcoin out of the weak hands. And the reason they're doing this is they know there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and actually a lot less than that in circulation, because a bunch of them have been lost. Upwards to 4 million of them have been lost. Okay. So there might only be like, 17 million. But anyway, we'll use the number 21 million just because that's the gross number that'll ever be produced. They know that that's a limited number, especially for a worldwide phenomenon, which is Bitcoin, that people all over the world are literally going to want to have some Bitcoin. So they know the time is now to accumulate as much as possible. This is why Michael Saylor is accumulating as much Bitcoin as he's accumulating. He knows that later on, it might be really difficult to do what he's doing right now. The last Bitcoin he bought, by the way, I think he paid, was it 49,000 a Bitcoin on average, or was it 37? I'm sorry, 47 million. Yeah, 47,000 a Bitcoin, or 49,000. I think it was 49,000. He announced it. In other words, he paid significantly more than what it's trading for right now for the last $100 million worth of Bitcoin that he bought, right? Do you think he cares now that that Bitcoin has gone down to 40,000? He doesn't care. He's got all that Bitcoin, and he's going to buy more, and he's going to keep buying more. And he's buying from a lot of these weak hands, okay? So Bitcoin, in my opinion, naturally flows from the weak to the strong hands. And that is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing that Bitcoin is flowing from the weak to the strong hands. We're seeing it in real time. You can track what's happening. Okay. This is what's happening. And I'll tell you what, the traders, they routinely get wrecked. They routinely are trying to time the market, trying to figure out what's going to go on, and they ain't going to outsmart these whales. They ain't going to outsmart the market. They're going to get wrecked, most of them. Now, 10% of them maybe make money. 90% of them get wrecked. Those are not good odds. Okay, and we got a comment from David Lee in the house. Actually, we had two comments here. We have advice for panic sellers: hold the tomatoes and don't spit in my burger. Oh, well, let me go back here. We've got something on. Jason says, agree with Craig on whales. Also, institutional investors and big financial institutions that badmouth BTC publicly are forecasting crashes and stacking sats in private. Yeah. Daniel Lee, advice for the panic sellers: hold the tomatoes and don't spit in my burger. And in other words, they're working at McDonald's. That's funny. I believe the maximum supply of Bitcoin BTC is 14 million. It might be. Well, and here's the thing: constantly Bitcoin are being lost. It ain't what's been lost up until now. There's still people losing their Bitcoin. There's still people, new people to the space or whatever, that are losing their password to something or whatever, or otherwise losing access to their Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin is just like, it's not lost, by the way. All the Bitcoins that are, quote, lost aren't really lost. They're sitting on the blockchain. Nobody can access them because they don't know their private keys, right? So they can't be moved. Nothing can be done with them. So they're in like limbo. I got to clean my glasses. Give me a second here. This is really rude to do this in the middle of a show, but I can't see a damn thing. And so that's how that works. But yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't understand about Bitcoin is, like, for example, people talk about a hardware wallet. I've got my Bitcoin on my hardware wallet. Well, your Bitcoin isn't on your hardware wallet. Your hardware wallet is simply giving you access to that Bitcoin. It's helping you sign transactions and all that. It's in effect managing your seed, right? Your private key. And so basically, when you have access to Bitcoin, all it means is that you can sign a transaction. You can send it. I can send my Bitcoin over to David, right? And then the blockchain will say that is a legit transfer of that Bitcoin. And now he then has control of the Bitcoin and can do what he wants with it. And it's not really a transfer of the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin, again, is staying on the blockchain. It's just me giving him access to that Bitcoin. So there you go. Let's see. Jason in the house, David's right. 4 to 7 million lost forever. There are 55 million millionaires in the world. The whales are accumulating. Correct. And a lot of them still haven't woken up yet. A lot of the millionaires are still asleep. Wait until they all start waking up, and then see what starts happening. And let me tell you something else. A lot of people in the Bitcoin space talk about us boomers, right? As okay, so if it flows from weak to the strong, the only people who can trade it are the strong. The strength, the currency is in its universe. Rocky Raccoon. Okay, we'll talk about that. But so anyway, the thing about all this is, when the boomers wake up, they've got the money. They're going to be buying the Bitcoin, and they're going to be buying a lot of the Bitcoin they're going to be buying is going to be from OGs. Right, folks that got in early and so forth that have weak hands are going to sell to them. Like some guy that got in and bought Bitcoin at $1, right? All of a sudden he's selling it today for like $40,000. He's like, oh my God, look how much money I made. I paid $1, I got $40,000. Well, if he'd have just thought a little more long term, 10 years from now, he'll probably be kicking himself for selling that Bitcoin for $40,000. Okay, hold on, have a strong hand. That is the thing. Now, Rocky makes a comment that if it ends up in all the strong hands, how can it be a currency or whatever? Here's the thing. Bitcoin will eventually be spent, even by the strong hands. Even the strongest hands, eventually, some of them will do something with their Bitcoin. they'll hire some guy to clean their car or whatever, and they'll give them a little bit of Bitcoin, right? So it will circulate. Just like anything of value, you can't just hoard it. Like Michael Saylor can't just hoard all his Bitcoin forever. And even if he does, there'll be other people that are going to be willing to spend their Bitcoin to buy something or whatever, right? So there'll be a certain amount of Bitcoin that will be circulating around. And then there'll be some Bitcoin that will just be hoarded, right? That people will just have hold of. That's fine. You do what you do with your Bitcoin, what you feel like doing with your Bitcoin. It's not really an issue. Tom's in the house. Watching your channel got me into BTC a few years ago. Been life changing for me. I'm holding. Well, there you go. Have a strong hand. This year, it might get rough. It might get a little rough. Hang in there. It's going to be wild. I'm telling you right now, 2022 is going to be wild, and it could get a little rough. But don't panic. Don't panic. We'll get through this rough spot, and I think we'll be good to go. Boozer says, I'm worried about the U.S. dollar. More worried about the U.S. dollar. Also, 82% of BTC holders are hodling. Maybe that's as high as that. I think that over time, again, it's flowing from the weak to the strong. And so over time, more and more of that Bitcoin is going into strong hands. And eventually, the weak hands will run out of Bitcoin to sell. Eventually, they won't have any more Bitcoin to sell. And then things are really going to get interesting. The price is going to have to skyrocket because there's just going to be very limited amounts of Bitcoin available. And, supply and demand, folks. It's got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go one way. Jason in the house. Hardware wallet just stores the keys. You need to access the BTC on the blockchain. There you go. And Derek says, I don't understand what to do to spend MYH coins. My daughter tells me not to use them, Craig. What's MYH coins? Let's see. Tom says, sounds good. Jason in the house. It isn't the millionaires to watch. It's the huge mutual funds, pension funds, etc., that aren't allowed to buy crypto right now. If they only have 1% to 2% exposure to Bitcoin beat da. Yeah, well, eventually, the big guys are going to come in. But don't discount actually not the millionaires, but the billionaires. Don't discount how much Bitcoin they can buy. I mean, Michael Saylor arguably started this whole bull run that we're in right now. And I do think we're still in a bull run. And he started it by buying $450 million worth of Bitcoin, right? And then continuing to buy and buy and buy. And so these billionaires can come in and they can really have an effect on the market. So I think that the millionaires waking up and the billionaires waking up can have a big effect on this market. Just watch and watch it play out. David Lee, I've been in since 6K and holding, and I'm not interested in selling anytime soon. Good play, David. Yeah, I bought some Bitcoin at 4K live here on the show. I bought some live. So yeah, we're right here with you. Boozer says, Craig, if I'm in my deathbed with no heirs, is it okay to sell Bitcoin? Well, you got to have an heir. You got to have somebody that you're going to convey it over to. Hey, you can convey it over to me. Well, I'm good. I'll hold it for you. I'll give it a good, safe, long-term home. That's what I'll do. Jason's in the house. Just give away your private keys to Boozer. David Williams is in the house. GBTC and BITO are possible vehicles for BTC exposure. Observation, not financial advice. I'm actually going to buy some more GBTC, I think, next week. I think I'm going to buy some more. It's really at a great discount right now. So I think I'm going to buy some. Again, we're not advising other people to do whatever, but I buy it in my Roth IRA, so that way any gains are tax-free. I love that. I love that mechanism. Rocky Raccoon in the house. If the strong hand pays his car washer in BTC and the car washer wants to buy a can of Red Bull, what's he to do if it's only a trading mechanism for what? No, he'll be able to buy Red Bull. the in El Salvador, it's legal tender, and it ain't going to be the first country that it's going to be legal tender in. There's going to be a bunch of countries where it's going to be legal tender, and more businesses will start taking Bitcoin, and they will likely be using the Lightning Network to do so because the Lightning Network has extremely low fees. Lightning Network sits on top of Bitcoin. So go ahead and check that out, Rocky Raccoon. It's called the Lightning Network. So yeah, he'll be able to buy whatever he wants with that Bitcoin. It will be very liquid, very liquid. He can also turn it into cash. He could use the Strike, the Strike app by Jack Mallers. It's free to change your Bitcoin back and forth from USD to Bitcoin. So if he got paid, he could use his Strike app. They could pay him in Bitcoin, and then he could take that Bitcoin and immediately convert it into fiat if he wanted to, and then move it to his bank account. You connect your bank account to it. You can move money back and forth for free. And so he could easily convert it back into fiat if that's what he wanted to do. He'd be smart, of course, just to keep it. But anyway, Rocket Raccoon says the more it's hoarded, the less liquid it becomes. Yeah, but again, it will whatever liquid supply is available. See, each Bitcoin, this is what a lot of people don't understand about Bitcoin. Each Bitcoin can be broken down into 100 million units called Satoshis. So it can be broken down into very small pieces. So you don't have to have all the Bitcoin circulating. You could have 1% of the Bitcoin circulating. And since it can be broken down into such small pieces, it can still be used to buy small things like a cup of coffee or whatever. Even when Bitcoin gets to where it's worth $1 million a Bitcoin, I think, doesn't that mean a Satoshi is a penny? Is that what that means? I'm not good at math, but maybe somebody will let us know in the chat. If Bitcoin gets to $1 million a Bitcoin, does that mean each Satoshi is a penny or 10 cents or what? What is it? Let us know in the chat. But anyway, it can be broken down into a very small amount. So there's really no problem with what they call fungibility. You will be able to spend it even if relatively small amounts are in circulation on a regular basis. Let's see. Craig, do you buy NFTs? No, I don't buy NFTs. I don't fool around with any altcoins either. David Lee in the house. Binance purchased 43,000 BTC this week, and they have huge influence in the market. There you go. And Craig, interesting. Okay, what was that? What is interesting? Do tell. Okay. Car washer should hodl. Yeah. BTC doesn't need to be liquid. It's a store of value that insulates from inflation. Folks will transfer to fiat for day-to-day transactions. Yeah, they can do that. They can absolutely do that. But like I say, as time progresses, more and more people will want to do business in Bitcoin. I accept it for any of the services that I offer. Sponsors can pay in Bitcoin and so forth, and I encourage them to do so. And as a matter of fact, I'll give a discount if they pay in Bitcoin. And Steve is talking about starting to do it with Little Treasury. There are other watch companies that do it that already accept Bitcoin. And so it's going to become more and more people will want to accept Bitcoin because they will prefer it. As a matter of fact, eventually they're going to insist on it. They won't want US dollars. Did you hear President Bukele El Salvador, BTC Prez, launched a public ad promoting healthy diet and exercise to boost immunity? There you go. Absolutely, that's a good play. And Kyle says that's right, I believe. One Satoshi, 1/100 millionth of a BTC. Yeah, but but the question I asked is, once BTC gets to be worth $1 million, then what does that mean? A Satoshi is a penny, right? Isn't that how that math works? I don't know. Rolling down the street, smoking, sipping on gin. Okay, with my mind on Satoshis and my Satoshi on my mind. Okay. We need sats to equal the yen. I've been waiting. Kyle's laughing out loud. Let's see. Jason, you mean it's solid stock? Well, here's the thing that's interesting about this too. If you guys think about this, some years ago, if we were doing a show, nobody would even want to talk about Bitcoin, right? I remember when I first started talking about Bitcoin, and for the longest time, I wouldn't talk about Bitcoin publicly because people would just laugh at me. I mean, they would just think I was freaking crazy, right? And when I finally started talking about it, I remember I think it hit about $1,200 a Bitcoin. And I thought, okay, now this thing kind of here. It's more than $1,000. Um, it's been around, I think at that point it had been around like 8 years or something, or 7 years or something. And I said, this thing's been around. It's hit $1,000. I think I can start talking about it. So that was when I first started talking about it on a limited basis on my Facebook. I think I mentioned it a couple times on this channel. And then I had Adam Meister come here for an interview. I think it was about $2,200 then when he came here and we did an interview of him. And then from then on, I've escalated, how much I've been talking about it over the years. And it's interesting that people are starting to get more interested and starting to pay a little more attention. There's still a lot of people that are skeptical, and I was skeptical for literally 2 or 3 years. I heard about it in 2011, and I didn't do anything about it until 2013. So I was literally, just dismissed it for the first 2 years, right? Talk about kick yourself. Why didn't I listen to my buddy? My buddy, who was a great tennis player from Canada, who unfortunately passed, I think it's been 3 or 4 years ago now, he passed. He's the one that told me about Bitcoin. And amazing guy. He was playing tennis up until his, like, 90th birthday, and he was really good at 90. But the cancer took him, the cancer. But yeah, I mean, it's things are starting to turn around now. People are starting to show more interest, and I think that 2022 is going to be the year when it really becomes something that people start taking seriously. Let's see, great interview released this week with the CEO of Santander Bank, offering customers a chance to get involved with BTC. Okay, cool. By the end of 2022, there will be 3 billion users of cryptocurrency. There's no turning back. No corners, will always be no corners. Yeah, but I hope we can. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm trying to get people to just forget about the whole crypto thing and just focus on Bitcoin. The whole crypto thing is just way too much of a distraction. All this Web3 stuff and all these altcoins and all the NFTs and all this crap, it's 99% of it is scams and crap and distractions. We've got a great shot with Bitcoin, and let's not blow this, right? Let's focus and execute on Bitcoin. If we can do that, we can change the world, right? But if we get fragmented and are going every direction all at once and so on, and have scams like Ethereum and all the scams built on there, those things give Bitcoin a bad name. Those things don't help. When people get scammed out of their money with these altcoins, it doesn't help the space. Jason's in the house. Stocks and funds are mainly a way to get your wealth out of fiat. So much is automatically stored there because of 401ks and institution. BTC is similar, but way better. Yeah, and with BTC, you're right. You can control your Bitcoin if you control your private keys. You can't really do that with things that are stuck with some institution. Now, having said that, I have some of my Bitcoin where I control the private keys, and I have some Bitcoin with Crypto.com. I don't mind saying it. I'm getting good interest return from them. I've got some with Blockchain.com. I've got some with BlockFi, a small amount with BlockFi because they lowered their interest rates quite a bit. But I am using some of my Bitcoin to get interest, and I'm earning a significant amount of interest every month off of my Bitcoin. Again, I don't have to sell it. Now, the purists would say, well, that's not your Bitcoin because you don't control the keys. Well, here's the thing. I'm not a doom and gloomer. I don't think that companies like Crypto.com are going to go belly up and steal all my Bitcoin. Just like I don't think Bank of America is going to go belly up and steal the fiat I have there. And so I'm not a doom and gloomer. And I think that this space needs companies like Crypto.com to help bring the mainstream people into the space. Now, I wish they would promote Bitcoin and not the garbage coins, but you don't always get what you wish for. But I cheer for some of these companies that are coming in the space, that their mission is to help onboard people and get people into the space and so on. So I don't mind supporting a company like Crypto.com. I wish it was just Bitcoin.com, but I think Roger Ver still owns that. Derek's in the house. Thanks for bringing these videos to us. You're welcome. I remember the trolls mockingly calling it Buttcoin. Can you use any NFT on real life? I don't know. I think NFTs are ridiculous, but I'm an old guy. So yeah. My Uber driver and I was talking about crypto. She wants to get paid in BTC. Uber might want to start considering this. Good. Remember, use the term Bitcoin, not crypto. Let's get out of the habit of using the term crypto. Let's just say Bitcoin, because crypto can mean anything. Bitcoin means one thing. Cheetown's in the house. Craig, do you see a future where world leaders who promote BTC as alternative USD as a reserve currency will find themselves on the wrong end of coups? I think that if they play their cards right, they'll be heroes like Bukele. I think they'll be lauded, and I think that they'll be on the right side. And the mayor of New York, the guy that was just elected mayor, he's pro-Bitcoin, openly pro-Bitcoin, and he was elected. So clearly that didn't hurt him. I think that people that fight Bitcoin are going to be on the wrong side of history and are going to be the ones that are going to be shunned. Jason's in the house. Off topic. What would GS need to release to make you swap your stunner? Let me think. I'll tell you what would be an interesting watch. If they could make a stunner like this with a gold bracelet, an 18-karat gold bracelet that was auto wind, that had a screw down crown, okay? If they could keep it the same size, that would be the trick. Not make it any thicker, keep it nice and trim, right? And make the bracelet so that it's robust. If they have to put like ceramic sleeves in the center links like Rolex did with some of their gold bracelets now, and made it easy to adjust, maybe even something similar to what Apple has done with their link bracelet, where you just take out links and it's real easy to do. You can literally do it with your finger. And you can add and remove links real easily. I mean, just something creative, right? To make that bracelet A, super comfortable, and B, easy to adjust. It would have to be both those things. Then that would be, in my opinion, the perfect all-around do-everything watch. Because you'd have auto wind, so you wouldn't have to wind it manually. You'd have a bracelet so you can like wash your dishes or do whatever you're doing. You don't have to worry about the leather strap getting wet, right? And I don't need the date. I don't need any of that stuff, right? This is fine just the way it is. Just add auto wind to it. The trick would be to keep it this thickness and add auto wind, right? You have to room for that rotor. So that would be tricky. But that would be the perfect wear all the time, heavy use watch. Because this watch is robust with the spring drive and all that. It ain't going to have any issues. So it's already robust. So to answer your question, that would be a great all around do everything piece, in my opinion. And I would probably opt for one. Let's see. Cheetown in the house. The last guy who wanted to create a reserve currency to rival the USD was Gaddafi. Look how that turned out from him. Well, what's interesting about it is Bitcoin is already now worldwide. And the time to have stopped Bitcoin was like 5 years ago, right? Or maybe even 10 years ago, right? It's too late now. And now a bunch of powerful people in the United States government own Bitcoin. And there's a lot of people in the deep state and so forth that own Bitcoin that we don't even know anything about, right? And so the game theory is playing out. The game theory is playing out. It's going to be very difficult for them to now kill Bitcoin. See, that's why I dismissed it back in 2011. I said the United States government is not going to stand for this. They're going to kill this thing. This thing is not long for this world. I thought absolutely they were going to snuff it out. And then 2 years went by and they didn't. And I'm like, what the hell are they thinking? And then I was like, at that point, I was like, what the hell am I thinking? Am I thinking the government is this smart and knows what to do? So then I started rethinking things. And I started saying, well, maybe they're going to screw up and they're going to let this thing survive. And with the Lindy effect, every year that this thing survives, it's stronger. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger because game theory is playing out. People are getting it, owning it, and therefore they're not going to want to turn on it, right? So every senator that gets it, that owns it, right, that's one less senator that's going to turn on Bitcoin. And more of them are getting it every day. Trust me when I say that. NFT is digital. Day date, haha. And art sold on the blockchain. Yeah, what a scam NFTs are. Can you do a show with the gold stunner on a NATO? No, I'm not a fan of NATOs, and this deployant clasp is absolutely fantastic. And I've had no problem with the leather strap getting smelly or anything like that, or falling apart like everybody said it would. And this is going on 2 years now. I've had this thing, isn't it? You guys remember when I got this? I don't remember. Short-term memory loss and long-term memory loss. I think it's going on 2 years. So it's held up great. And this particular strap has been on it most of the time. I did have another strap on it for a little while and a black one, and then I put this brown one on, and it's been on for the majority. And it's not the original strap. It's a strap made by HD Straps, made to the original specs. The original strap I only wore for like a month or so, and it's still in mint condition as well. The new Cardio Santos has a great bracelet that is easy to adjust. Okay. I actually have a NATO style strap for the stunner, and it looks awesome. It isn't a NATO. It's very nice woven fabric. Well, there you go. Now, can you use that with the deployant clasp? Do tell. It's too late. The only tactic now is to smear people who own BTC as extremists. Yeah, and again, they're smearing everybody anyway. So, it's like the guy that cried wolf, right? They've done it so much now that it's like it doesn't have any effect anymore. Let's see. Yes, Jason, way better if you believe it, but still one step removed from liquid cash. I've never seen anybody buy a can of Red Bull with Apple stock or any other stock for that matter. Yeah, but this is different. You'll be able to go right up with your smartphone and just they'll generate an invoice and you'll just scan the QR code and you'll pay immediately, and it's going to be it already is a piece of cake in El Salvador. They're already doing it. So it's going to spread. Derek Craig promised to film a day date with Bree, but still doesn't buy. Nobody has any day dates anymore. We've been talking. See, that's the problem, Derek. We've been talking about day dates so much. Now day dates are sold out everywhere. The ADs don't even have day dates anymore. Now everybody on all the forums is starting to talk about, well, maybe we should be buying gold watches instead of steel watches, right? They're always like 4 or 5 years behind us here on the channel, right? We've been talking about this for years, that they should have been buying gold watches, and now they're finally starting to come around. And let's face it, stocks have been around for a while. Okay. You acquired SBGY 003 in April 2020. No, mine's in 002. 002. So in April of 2022, so this April, it'll be 2 years. David in the house coming forward with the facts. So we're going on 2 years, and it's like doing great. Craig just emailed 2 photos of the stunner on a Chevron NATO. I think it's fun combo, especially warmer weather when you don't want to wear the leather straps. Okay, let's take a look here. Wow, that looks good. Um, but I'm assuming that you're not using the deployant clasp with that. See, I love the deployant clasp, so that would be like I'd like to have one custom made, a strap that I could still use the deployant with. That would be probably the way I would go. Would you consider a mining BTC? Nah, that's pretty specialized, and to be successful at a lot of capital. I'll just buy my Bitcoin the old-fashioned way, and I'm not buying that much these days, but I am buying some, and of course, I'm earning some as interest. Um, so yeah, and I'm buying some GBTC next week, which is exposure to Bitcoin, but not the actual Bitcoin. Brett just got the new day date. Wait, which one? He got one not too long ago, a white gold one. Did he get another one? Do tell. Or is this old news, Kyle? Old news on the channel. Craig, what do you think of the Stella dial day dates from the 70s? I have to see it. I'm not sure what that looks like. From the AD. And somebody's talking about platinum. He got white gold. You can't use the Chevron NATO with the deployant class. Yeah, you'd have to have something custom made, I think. And I bet you the guy at HC Straps could do it. I bet you he could do it. Kyle says white gold. But here's the thing. There's a reason why high-end watches for many years have had, like crocodile or alligator straps. I mean, they actually hold up pretty damn good. They actually last a long time. I mean, I don't these guys in the forums that are crying and stuff. Oh my God! If you get out in the rain, it'll melt and it'll fall apart and all this stuff. I don't know what shitty straps they're using, but these straps that are stitched all the way around with high quality stitching and high quality leather and a high quality leather liner. I'm sorry, but my experience is they hold up really well, really freaking well. And my wrist, I'm sorry, guys, I don't sweat like a stuck pig, even in the summertime. My wrist doesn't sweat that much. I don't know who has all these sweaty wrists and stuff. But no, I wouldn't be out jogging in it. I wouldn't be playing tennis in it. I don't wear a watch playing tennis anyway, right? If I'm doing rigorous activity where I'm sweating, I'm not going to be wearing this watch. But just normal out and about and so forth, I haven't had any problem at all year round. No problem. No problem, guys. So, yeah, Kyle says white gold. 3 elements of a currency: 1, store value; 2, unit of account; 3, medium of exchange. Equity securities are not a medium of exchange. That's correct. And Bitcoin will slowly but surely develop 2 and 3, okay, over time. And right now it's really number 1. And it will take time, but it will develop the properties of 2 and 3. It's already being used as a medium of exchange in El Salvador, right? It's not being used as a unit of account because they're still pricing things in dollars, generally speaking. But it is being used as a medium of exchange. You can pay anywhere in El Salvador. It's legal tender, after all. You can pay with Bitcoin. So it is being used as a medium of exchange. Michael Date is awesome. Yes, it is. O2 corrected. Nice. What color dial? Okay, silver. Yes, that is a stunner that he got. Old news from December, but I didn't think okay. I'm just funning you, Kyle. David's in the house. Stella dials can be more than double the price of the data. Okay. Tim in the house, and we're going to have to wrap this pretty soon. Craig, your thoughts on Djokovic detention case in Aussie federal court. I mean, this whole mask, uh, jabs, everybody needing to get a jab. It has gotten so out of control and so out of hand. All the data now shows that the government was totally wrong on this whole thing the whole time, and that we've been had and scammed. And it is so freaking sad. I mean, if I didn't have a going business up here in Maryland that I have to kind of focus on, I would I would sell my place here and be in Florida and just say that forget about the socialist state of Maryland and forget about all these socialist states, and I would just go to Florida where freedom still reigns. Um, it has gotten totally out of control. These control freaks are absolutely insane, and that's my take on all that. What happened to him, Tim? I didn't hear. Okay. I think he refused to take the jab. Uh, those sweaty wrist guys need to lay off all the salt and the garbage fast food cheat down in the house. Um, he's detained in Australia. No vax. Um, had his visa canceled because he did not have a proper medical exemption for not being vaxed. Um, Djokovic wasn't vaxxed and was detained in Australia and denied entry. Craig, check your mail. Okay, I'll do it. Craig, I sent an email of a lady watch that Leslie likes. Okay, we'll look at that. The government has successfully broken a large portion of the population. Okay. Florida is a great state to escape to. Just ask AOC. Okay, does she know? Australia, thumbs down. Socialism is a mental illness. Uh, Nancy just bought a house there too. They're moving to Florida too because they like freedom. You know, they like freedom. The technology makes BTC liquid through QR codes and the like. Why can't we do that with sticks today? The technology already exists, but it's got no. I think he means tradition. Okay, let me check the email, and then we got to get ready to go here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, oh. Okay. Um, wow, that is a hell of a price. I mean, it looks like it doesn't have much stretch. If that's the actual bracelet and everything in these pictures, and it says this beautiful Rolex watch is guaranteed to be genuine and mint condition. And this thing is $4,500. I mean, that is pretty cool. Now, I'm all for going all gold, 100% gold, not steel and gold. She already has a great steel stunner. I would wait and find something similar to this, an all gold. But having said that, this thing is pretty amazing for that price. You can really get some deals on some ladies' watches. You really can. Because see, most ladies don't want to quote used watch, right? And so the used market is not as strong. And that's to the benefit of anybody that actually wants to buy one. Saw Joker wearing his Seiko when he waved us from the detention hotel window. Heaven's Gate referred to money as sticks. Okay. Have you any plans in the foreseeable future to retire and enjoy life in Florida? Yes, David. I am going to pull the ripcord sometime probably in the next 2 years. And especially if this state continues to go the direction that it's going. sooner rather than later, but definitely within the next 2 years. Yes. And I will not stay in Florida in the real hot months. I'll travel then, uh, somewhere north or whatever, or some other country or whatever. And so I will spend mainly, from around October until April in Florida, and then other times I'll probably be traveling. So that's my plan. 4.5K is a great price for that. It looks to be pretty good. Yes, it does. Craig, did you hear that Rolex is coming out with a new steel sports watch this year? They're going to call it Safety Deposit Box Dweller. I love it. That's great. That's great. All right, we're gonna wrap this puppy up. On that note, we got to wrap this puppy up. I'm gonna get something to eat. It's a little bit chilly here. You notice I've got my suede vest on to try to stay warm, and that's what you do when you're trying to stay warm. You wear a camel hair coat. This is a camel hair coat, camel hair, and a suede vest. That's what you do. So, Derek says, wait. Sorry, I can't wait. I can't wait. I just can't wait. We got to wrap this up because I am hungry. Tell him to stay a bit. Can't end. All right. I love it. I love it, guys. I love it. I'll try to do a show tomorrow. I can't promise, but this was an emergency show today. We had to do an emergency show because people were panicking. Oh, let's double check on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is at 41,954, 41,954. If Bitcoin can stay over 40,000 for the next several days, we might be able to say that this is the bottom, that we've put in a bottom here. Again, it's impossible to know with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin could literally go down to 30,000 bucks, right? I don't see it going any lower than that, but it could literally go down to 30,000 bucks. But it looks like we might be, fingers crossed, we might be putting in a bottom here. So any of you no coiners that have been on the sidelines and so forth, you might want to think about changing that aspect. And there's Carlos. He might want to load up on one Bitcoin here when he can. Jason says, see you all, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Diamond hands, folks. Carlos in the house. Thank you, Craig. Bye all. I've listened while hiking. I did not read comments. Okay. And thanks for the live show, Craig. Cheatown in the house. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We are out of here. It's been almost an hour. Thanks again. Hey, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and send me an email to my name, CraigShipp@gmail.com, CraigShipp@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to get you on the notification list so you get notifications when we're going to go live. I literally send an email to people telling them when we're going to go live, because the notifications on YouTube kind of suck. So there's how that works. Thanks again for watching, everybody.